hopefully everybody made 100 on their vocab test, and that will be our first grade of the 6 weeks. Remember, on Friday tomorrow, it's a remote day for everybody, so there is an assignment. Make sure you check in for attendance and then go do the little assignment. It's mainly either watching the video or going in and playing around with the tools in the software. And in the video, I show you how to go into the software that you're going to be using on test day for the STAR test, and that way you can play around with some of the tools. There is a calculator tool inside the software. Do not use that, okay? I know it's tempting. It's right up there on the top with the tools, and you can click on it, but it's a TI-84 calculator, and the keys are totally different, okay? So it'll just confuse you more than anything else, so just don't use it. When you take the STAR test, you'll be using a handheld Inspire calculator, which will be way easier. So it's there, just don't use it, okay? Use your actual handheld calculator. All right, so anyway, we'll talk more about test-taking strategies, especially on Monday, but just make sure I kind of send out a letter with some of the strategies. But basically, you just want to go through the whole test, first time through, look for all the questions that you know how to do, okay? Maybe there's almost every question you know how to do. Maybe there's, 30 or 40 that you know how to do. However many you do, just do the ones you know you can do the first time through. Leave the ones blank that you're not going to do, and then count how many did you do at that point. If you've already got 30 done, you know you're in the passing zone. If you've got 40 done, you're in the B zone. If you've already got 50 done, you're in the A zone. Go back through a second time to look at the ones that you skipped and see if you can remember how to do any of those, right? And then any more that you added to, again, count, see how many you got. The ones that are left, maybe you got 5 questions left, or maybe you got 15 questions left that you just don't know how to do. Pick one letter. A, B, C, or D. Pick one letter. My letter is B, and so literally for all those 10 questions, I would go B, 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 okay? Do not jump around, because if you jump around, you could miss every single question. But if you pick the same letter, about a fourth of those questions that you left blank should be B. So about a fourth of those questions you should get right just by purely guessing. You'll bump your score up another 2, 3 questions, one, 2, or 3 questions, depending on how many it is that you left blank. So anyway, you want to get those extra questions that you're just guessing at. Don't change your letter, bumping around. Don't do A for this one, B for this one, C for that one. You may miss every single question. Pick one letter and guess that one letter. Doesn't matter which letter as long as you pick one letter. All right? So there's your test-taking strategies. And I'll give you more information and stuff. So make sure you're reading the little emails and stuff that I send out. Okay, so on the lovely worksheet today, which graph of the function has the domain? And they tell you what the domain is going to be. They want the domain to be greater than -3 and less than or equal to 4. So the two end numbers are -3 and 4. So small number on the left, big number on the right. The x's are all between -3 and 4. Right? Now this one says or equal to, so this one has the line under it. This one just says less than, so I'm not going to put any line under that one. Actually, this one says greater than. There's no or equal to here. And this one was less than or equal to. So line goes with the 4. Nothing over here says or equal to. So this is kind of what you're looking for. So we're on the x-axis, and we're looking for -3 and 4. So if I go find -3 and 4, does my graph go all the way out to there? No, get rid of it. Here's -3 and here's 4. Does my graph go from end to end? Yes, I'm going to keep that for a second. -3 and 4 here. Does my graph go all the way over to here? Nope. So I got rid of that one. And this one goes from -3 to 4. Now remember, the 4 is the one that has a line, so this will be your solid circle. Does the 4 have a solid circle? It does. And the other one does not have a line, so it should be an open circle, so that one matches it. If you looked at these over here, they flip the symbols backward. This one has an open circle, and it should not be an open circle. All right, so this one is backwards on those closed and open circles. Okay, so we're just going to do a lot of domain today to remember this stuff. Number 9, I know that the order on the numbers are crazy, so don't worry about it. F of -2. This is shorthand for when x is -2, what is the y number that goes with it? Okay, if they give you the x, you're looking for the y. If they give you the y, you're looking for the x. They give you the x, and you can see that because this is where x goes. And what did they plug in for the x? They plugged in a -2. So in the table, you're looking when x is -2, what's the y number? If you're going to do the table, you put in the whole equation in the graph icon, right? Y equals -2x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 2. Control T, go look at the table. If you're going to do a plug and chug version, you're just doing the right-hand side. And this is a -2 parentheses where the x's are cubed, -2 parentheses where the x is squared, -4 parentheses -2 for the 4x, and then plus 2. And of course, what goes in for the x's? The -2. And then you just put this in the add subtract screen, just the whole line, all the way down, right? And hit enter. You should have gotten 18 when you did that. Hopefully you've done these and you pause the video, and now you're just going to come back and check answers. So if you have not, pause it and go do some and then come back. We have a lovely table. You want to know which equation matches the table. That's all you're doing, which has the relationship shown in the table. So you could literally go put all these equations, y equals, in the calculator, check their table, Control T. If you happen to notice, though, that this is a intercept, intercepts always have a 0 in them. And this is a particular y-intercept because the number's in the y position. So on these exponential equations, can you see the y-intercept in the equation? Yes, it's the starting amount. It's this number right here. What's the only one that has a 50? That one. And if you look at the pattern, it is decreasing from 50 to 10 to 2 to 0.4. So it is a decreasing pattern, which makes sense because this is 0.2. And that's a decreasing number, less than 1. All right, but you could also just put in the calculator and match the table. Perfectly good way of doing that. All right, here's another lovely one with a bunch of exponentials, right? So I have all these equations. It says the current population is 800 starling birds. That's my starting amount. Is expected to increase, so this is an increasing situation. I really don't care what the amount that it's increasing, I just know it's increasing. And it just says which equation can determine the population of starlings for a given number of years from now, okay, because X is my time period. Really don't care about that. I know the starting amount and I know increase. So it's increasing. Is this an increase? Keep it. Is that an increase? No, get rid of it. Is this an increase? Yes. Is that an increase? Yes. And then the starting amount is 800. Is that my starting amount? Nope. Cross it off. Is that the starting amount? Nope. Is this the starting amount? It is, but I already crossed that one off because it wasn't increasing. So the only one that is increasing and has a starting amount of 800 is A. So eliminate answers as you're doing these, right? And then just see which one matches. Increasing, decreasing, and starting amount will usually get you these questions. All right, we did that one. This one says they have a graph here and they say, what is the asymptote of the graph shown below? So you need to know your vocab word. The asymptote is where this exponential graph is flattening out. I want the equation of this horizontal line that goes right through here. And of course, horizontal lines are HOI, right? H for horizontal. The slope is 0, but they didn't ask for the slope. They asked for the equation. And it starts with y equals a number. And what is the y number that you're on? You're on -1. So this is y equals -1. And boom, there it is. This one's asking for domain, so these are your x numbers. So again, you might want to circle the x-axis. I'm only picking out numbers over here. Do not pick out these y numbers. I am not doing that. I'm doing x's. So in the answers, get rid of anything that has y's in it because we're not doing y's, we're doing x's. So I had two choices. It goes all the way to -2 and goes all the way to 1. So those are my two endpoints on my x numbers, -2 and 1. -2, 1, -2, 1. This is an open circle. This is a closed circle. So this one should not have a line under it. So that should not be, but this is right and that is right because this one should have a line. So C is it. Okay, we're at one page down. Let's go try the next one. Write the equation of a line going through these 2 points. All the equations are in y equals. Grab your calculator, go graph every one of these, and as you put one in, go check the table. And if the table matches this point, -2, -4, and this point 3, -2, it has to have both points in the table, not just one, but both points. It is your winner. Oh, I forgot to do this one. Okay, so anyway, this should be a pretty easy one. Put it in the calculator. I don't know why sometimes I forget to do that. But anyway, check the table and just go see which one it is. This should be straightforward for you guys to do. You are good at these. Number 2 on this one. Write the equation of a line having slope 0. As soon as it says undefined or slope 0, this is one of our special lines that's either vertical or horizontal. So write HOI and write VUX on your paper. This is an O, so I'm looking for the HOI. VUX does not have an O anywhere in it, so I'm looking for this. The slope is 0, right? So I'm looking for this one. Does it start with y equals? Yes, I want all equations that start with y equals. Oh, they all do, but it's only going to be y equals a number, and that's it. So it's not going to have the x's in here and all this stuff, so A and B are gone. It's one of these two. Look at the point. What is the y number in the point? 6. So y is equal to what number? 6. There it is right there. That's all you got to do. Okay, write the equation of this line. Now this is a vertical line, okay? It's not a horizontal line. Horizontal lines look like the horizon. This is vertical, so I write VUX, V-U-X. The slope is undefined. They didn't ask for slope, they asked for the equation. The equation starts with x equals a number. And get rid of the y's, which means I'm only left with this one. And of course, x is 2, because that's where it's crossing on x is 2. Let's see, write the equation of the line. In order to do this, I need to be able to have the equations in y equals format. And these are not in y equals format. So if I want to graph them in the calculator and just match the picture to the equation, I need them in y equals. The good news is there's only one little piece of information on this side with the y. So if I add 2 to both sides, I add 2 over here, and the 2's are now gone. So now it's in y equals, and I can type this right-hand side in just like that. I don't have to simplify. I just do the -2 parentheses x plus 1, close the parentheses, plus 2. Put it in the calculator and then check the table. Not the table, just look at the graph. I'm sorry, guys. So just look at the graph, see if it crosses the y-axis at 4 and the x-axis at -2. If it does not, cross it off the list. Go try the next one. To get rid of the -2, we add 2 to both sides. So I've got a +2 on the end, and the 2's are now gone over here. And I'd act in that equation just like that. Go graph it, and it looks just like this. It crosses at 4, and it crosses at -2 on the x-axis, so B is the right answer. All right, this one. Which of the following statements regarding this equation is correct? And when I read it, they give me this, this information. So this is kind of like these are equivalent to each other, and they also give me the zeros. So a couple of ways you could do it. You could put this equation and this equation in the calculator and see if they're the exact same equation. Hopefully there's only one of these that has the right equation. Okay. The other thing we can do is check the zeros. So we could put this equation in the calculator and just go trace around it and find the zeros. The good news is the zeros are different in every one of these. If it's -3/4, here's -3/4, it's -1, +1. So they're different sets of numbers. None of these have the same set of zeros. So if you just go find the zeros, and what are zeros? X-intercepts. So I can just go put this thing in the calculator, trace around it, and find the 2 x-intercepts and see which one has the right x-intercepts. Okay, then I don't have to worry about matching up the other parts of it. I can just do it straightly from the zeros. But either way would probably get you the right answer. All right, which one was it? A. When you put this in and trace around it, it crosses at -3/4 and it crosses at +1. All right, this last one over here, they give you the equation. They say which function also represents the graph. So they want to know which of these equations makes this picture. Okay, so you could either, these are all in y equals, so you could literally put them in the calculator and see if it matches the picture. The vertex needs to be right there at 1, 3, and it needs to cross the x-axis here between 0 and -1 and between 2 and 3. So make sure that the graphs meet up really good. You could also maybe check these points down here and make sure it's crossing at these points here, which is 4, -5. Yeah, I think that's -5. So it's crossing at 4, -5, so you can make sure that that point is on the graph, and the same thing over here, -2, -5. Yeah, -5. So you could also check those points. If you got several that look very similar, you might want to check some other points where you can see where the points are. But anyway, D should match that really well. Could you also have put this one in the calculator and put each of these in and see if they made the same picture? Sure, that's another way you could have done it. So multiple ways of doing it with the calculator, just matching up pictures. Okay, we're almost done with this one. We have Mr. Walker's catapult class. They're going to throw a pumpkin up in the air. The path is modeled by this equation. So they give you the equation of this lovely quadratic, right? We put it in the calculator, and this is the picture you get, right? And then the question is, and they tell you t is in seconds, and the y is the height. So we got height, and we got time. They say, what's the domain and the range? Now remember, on real world, I don't care that it goes into the negatives over here. I just want this real world where it starts and where it ends. That's it. So my domain starts at 0 and goes to 6.25. I traced around it to see what the number is over here. And it goes all the way over to 6.25. So this is my domain. These are my x's, right, from here to here. The range goes from 0 up to 39.1. So that's all I want is the y's from there to there. Oh, on the worksheet, I put it in the directions at the beginning of your assignment to put lines underneath all these because I forgot to put them in before I scanned it. So there are lines underneath every one of these. So anyway, the numbers were domain are your x's. So if it has a y for the domain, get rid of it. It did not do all real numbers because it doesn't go on forever and ever. It just goes from here to here, and that's it. So get rid of the ones that say all real numbers. The domain went from 0 to 6.25. So this one, this x's, and the range, which are y's, go from 0 to 39.1. So it is that one, C. Okay, a shop sells postcards, and I go to the end. What is the cost of one greeting card? That didn't help. Let's go back and read. A shop sells postcards and greeting cards. One customer spent $12 on 4 postcards and 6 greeting cards. Another shopper spent $16.50 on 2 postcards and 10 greeting cards. What is the cost of one greeting card? This is where they give you enough information for 2 equations so I can find out exactly what x and y are. You need to label one x and one y because we have greeting cards and we got postcards. Doesn't matter which way you label them, just label them. So one person spent $12 and they bought 4 postcards, so that's 4 times x, and 6 of the greeting cards, so 6 times y. So if I add all the money up, it should equal 12. And then the second person spent $16.50 buying 2 postcards and 10 greeting cards. So put both these equations in the calculator, which is LenSolve, go see where they intersect, and this is where they intersect. Both these numbers are in the answer, so how do you know which one it is? We're looking for the greeting card. Did you make the greeting card the x or the y? If you made it y like I did, right, I'm looking for the y number, and which of these is the y number? This one is, so it's $1.50. So it's that answer. That's how you know which one to pick. These are the hard ones, by the way, on the STAR test. Okay, these are like really hard questions on the STAR test. If you can write your equations, they're a piece of cake. Then you just put them in LearnSolve. But if you remember to do that, you're in great shape. If you don't, just skip it, right? And just take a guess at the end with whatever your guessing layer is. Write the equation of the line that has that's parallel to this one. If they're parallel lines, remember that's where they are like railroad tracks. They have the same slope. So if I know the slope of this line, I know the slope of my line. This one is in y equals, so the slope is -3. So my line will also have a slope of -3. So I'm keeping these two answers, but getting rid of these two that don't have a slope of -3. The second part is they have to go through this point, and the point is 0, -3. So I could check, but put both these in the calculator and check their tables and see if they go through 0 and -3. Now, if you happen to notice that this point is a y-intercept, because the intercepts have 0 in them, this is my y-intercept. Is that the right y-intercept? No, it's not, but is that? Yes. But if you don't recognize that, that's okay. You just put them in the calculator and check the table for the point like we always do. All right, write the slope of the line that is perpendicular. If it's perpendicular, the only reason they give you parallel and perpendicular is to help you find the slope. So, perpendicular lines intersect at 90 degrees, which means if one is positive, one's negative. So they have opposite signs, and you have to flip the fraction upside down. So I want it perpendicular to the line with this equation. So this slope is 5. But I don't want that one. It's not the same. I want to make it perpendicular, which means I'm going to make it the opposite sign, negative, and flip it. So instead of 5/1, it's -1/5. And there it is right there. I just wanted to find the slope. Write the slope of a line that is parallel to this one. Well, that's all fine and great, but can I see the slope in this equation? No, because it's not in y equals format. But once I get it in y equals, I can pick out the slope, and it will be the same because they're parallel. So solving, to get y by itself, get rid of the x term first, so subtract 6x on both sides. Bring the 2y down. Write the x term first, -6x plus 8. When you're getting rid of the 2, we're going to divide by 2 because this is multiplication. And both pieces over here get divided by 2. So y is equal to, put these in the calculator and reduce them down. -6/2 is -3 with the x. 8/2 is +4. This is my y-intercept. Don't care about that. I just want the slope. -3, and we're just looking for the slope, so it is -3. There you go. That is it, guys. Tomorrow's the remote day, so make sure you're watching the video, and it's not a hard assignment, but I do want you to watch the video because I explain how to use the tools, and I want you to practice that just a little bit. Not very long. It won't take long at all. And then Monday, come back so we can practice on one last day and look at vocab on Monday just to get it fresh in our heads before the test.